Hello all, welcome on into your tarot spread for the week ahead. This is for the week beginning Monday, January 26th, 2026. And I'm going to be honest, I'm in the United States, as I said before. I think a lot of you that watch these are in the United States too. It is a really rough time right now. It's a really rough time in the United States. There is a lot of really chaotic energy, a lot of really violent energy, an energy where people are being targeted just for who they are, basically just for existing. And people are quite literally being injured and in some cases murdered for standing up for what they feel is right. And I'm feeling a little down. I've done what I can to ground myself and protect the energy of this space and this reading. Quite literally took a shower, cleansing my energy. I've done some breathing and some grounding. I've got some meaningful items sitting here. Be bold. Please, the world needs your voice. We're using the Quiet Rebel Tarot this week by Lynn Thurman. And I picked this deck primarily because I wanted something. I like the colors in it. I like sort of the sassy humor of it. But then I realized the title of it in and of itself, Quiet Rebel. Which I feel is more my vibe as far as rebellions go. So that is the deck we are using this week. And let's see what comes up for us. We've already had a few come up for us. Again, I'm always sort of amazed when some of the same cards come up, even though we're using a different deck. I know, for example, the Wheel of Fortune, which is our card of the year for 2026. I know that came up last week, too, for us in our reading. So that is definitely an energy still at play. Oh, and the 24th, Saturday the 24th, was my mom's birthday. My mom is the reason I am on this planet. She also watches, I think, each and every one of these videos, and then we text about it. And she gives me her feedback, opinions, insights, and I really appreciate that. So happy birthday to my mom. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Cards are flying out fast and furious. And I think no matter what you believe in life, no matter where you are, no matter how you're feeling, I think in times that feel a little, again, chaotic, unbalanced, uncertain, frankly, a little scary, a little anxiety producing, I think it can be helpful to root yourself in whatever practices you have that help you to feel a little better, that help to shift your energy, that help you to feel more grounded. Tarot certainly is that for me, and I hope in some ways that these readings are sort of that for you, but also journaling, meditation, just sitting and breathing. Turn off the news for a little bit. Just disconnect. Don't doom scroll, please. If something major happens, you will know. Not to say, to ignore the news altogether, but it's really not healthy for us to be obsessed with it day in, day out, all day, every day. All right. Oh, let's see about. There we go. I like it when we can see the cards without a lot of glare. Yeah. So we got 3 more cards we'll pull. Ooh. And we might actually have, oh, there we go. We've got that. We've got this. We've got some repeats between decks. And like I said, it always amazes me when we pick up a completely different deck and we get some of the same cards that come up for us, which implies to me that definitely we've got some energies that are sticking around for a while. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news maybe with that, but All right. Here we go, quiet rebels. um, Oh, and if I haven't said it already, Lynn Thurman is one of my favorite deck creators that I've discovered this year. I know she's been doing her work for a while, but I discovered her this year via Kickstarter. And I kickstarted her most recent Oracle deck, which is on its way to me, and I'm thrilled. This is not an advertisement. I just really honestly enjoy her work. And away we go. As a wise man named, I believe, it was either Art Carney or Jackie Gleason on The Honeymooners that was an away we go, and I forget which one now. And for most of you, that reference probably just completely skipped over, but that's okay. That is for my folks who were born in the 1940s who are watching this. Um, our card of the week, so our overall theme of the week, our overall energy of the week, the overall possibility of what we're dealing with is the Cosmic Roulette, which is the Wheel of Fortune. And I like that this card does have the ladybug and the coins and, does imply a certain amount of good fortune, that this is a good card. This is going to bring us success and maybe some wealth and whatever else we would like. The thing about the Wheel of Fortune is it spins whether we like it or not. What goes around comes around. It's all the cliches, all the wheel cliches we could throw at it. But really, it is a certain amount of fate, of destiny, of, we take our chance, we make our spin, but we don't necessarily know how it's going to end up. And we might not necessarily have control over how some of it ends up. I do like that this man, his photo is centered in the wheel, because I think there is sort of a message here of things can spin around you, but you can choose to be in the center. You can choose to be the spoke that's stationary. I kind of look at, there's a lot going on we can't control, but if we look at the small part that we can control, if we start by controlling ourselves, our actions, and focusing on our immediate circle, doing what we can, then that will translate into broader circles. And so maybe that's a message here for that too. Like maybe we can affect fortune by focusing on our inner or immediate circle first. So that's our energy for this week. Things are a-spinning. For Monday, we have the World, which in this deck is the mic drop. The World is the last card, the final spiritual lesson in the major arcana of tarot. There are 22 cards, and the World is the last one. So it's the end of the journey we've been on. And I think this probably is going to reflect more for us personally. I think the world stuff, the national stuff that's going on, I sadly feel like that's going to be going on for a while. That wheel's going to be spinning possibly all year long. But I think the world is, for our personal lives, what journeys are we ending? What shifts are occurring in our life? What new path are we ready to take? What new leap are we ready to take? Because when we finish with the World on number 21, the wheel turns back again and we start at 0 with the Fool. And the Fool is all about risks and leaps. So after we're done, after we finish this, after we release this, where are we beginning again? And so that's our Monday energy, start of the week, starting new. Or at least finishing. Like I said, this is more of an ending. The world is more of an ending, but we're ending so that we can begin our next journey, our next phase. So what cycles are we ending? What's completing in our life? Where has the wheel done its complete rotation? For Tuesday, we have the Big Bang, which is Ace of Wands. And this is about those creative ideas. So when we've released this, when we accept the end of this journey, what are we ready to begin? Where's that spark of creativity, that spark of passion, that spark of enthusiasm that we want to channel into? What are we ready to do? Maybe we're just ready to be seen. Maybe we're ready to be like, here I am, world. And that's great. You don't have to be a quiet rebel. You can be a loud rebel. You can be a big bang rebel. That's okay. And so for Tuesday, lean into that. Lean into those lightning bolts that hit you, those light bulb moments, lean into that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do because it's a good time. We've completed this cycle. We've released this weight. We've dropped that mic. And now we're ready to lean into this. For Wednesday, we have the Two of Swords, which in this deck, the little tagline is the turning point. I really do love this deck that it has these little taglines or sort of key phrases for the cards. And Two of Swords can traditionally mean a crossroads. It can mean you've got to make a decision. You've got to pick a way to go. So again, I feel like this is a really good progression here. We have we're finishing this cycle. We're ready to drop the mic and walk off stage, and then we're going to get this inspiration, this moment of this flash of brilliance, if you will. And then we're going to have to make a decision about it before we start our next portion of our life's journey. We're going to have to make a decision. The Two of Swords for me, I always think of it too as like sort of a turning inward. As you can see, she's wearing sunglasses. The card is traditionally a person blindfolded with two swords crossed in front of them. So I think of barriers and boundaries and again, sort of taking some time to go inward to make this decision for this turning point. Tune out the noise. Another good day to maybe put the phone in airplane mode for a bit, maybe turn off the news for a bit. Just be quiet, be still, go inward, and figure out those next steps. For Thursday, we have the Rising Star, or Six of Wands. I love this card. And Six of Wands it seems sort of like an odd energy here midweek, but I'll take it. I will take it. Six of Wands is about celebrating our victories, having confidence, and maybe that's the lesson, is to have confidence in your skills and strengths. Lean into those skills and strength, and don't be shy about sharing them with others. They may come in handy no matter what you're doing. Those strengths might come in handy. Those skills might come in handy. Those superpowers that are unique to you might come in handy. And don't be afraid to share that and celebrate that with folks. That is our Six of Wands energy on Thursday. Use your superpowers for good. Yeah, use them for good. On Friday, we have the Five of Wands. And the tagline here is the power struggle. And I think, I do see the people here with their signs about choosing, and, there are a lot of people trying to vie for our attention right now. There are a lot of news stories that are trying to vie for our attention. We are bombarded with this messaging all day long nowadays. And I think the answer here is, again, if this doesn't serve us, we don't need to pay attention to it. As a wise band named Rush once said, even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. So you don't need to choose any of this. You don't need to give these people the time of day. You don't need to enter into this power struggle. You see, they're all in a group over here. You can turn around and walk away. And so I think Five of Wands for us on Friday is sort of a pick your battles energy. You can choose not to decide. You can choose not to engage for things that don't really matter. Because Five of Wands to me, again, the power struggle is never a serious revolutionary power struggle. It's always just more of a distraction. Another wise band, R.E.M, once said, a simple prop to occupy my time. And that's sort of the energy here with this card. So you don't need to, whatever this is, you don't need to be in this. But be careful of being sucked into it. Be careful of being sucked into it. The world needs your strengths over here. For Saturday, we have the Three of Swords reversed. I'm going to show you upright just so you can see the full card. And that's the Heartquake. Three of Swords is about processing our emotions. It's about a deep release of what's bothering us, what's hurting us, any loss, heartache, hurt feelings, deep emotional wounds that we have. And it did come up as reversed. So that tells me that this is something we're likely ready to move on from. We're likely ready to release this. But we also might want to take a moment and think about what our part in it was. I think often, I'll use a relationship as an example, a romantic relationship. We often, if it's ending, we often look at the other person like, well, they did this and they did that and it was this and that. And we tend to be very focused on the faults of the other person. And I think here, the Three of Swords, not only does it tell us we're ready to sort of let it go, but I think it does give us the message of really owning and taking responsibility for maybe our part in whatever this heartache was, whatever this wound was. And to be fair, it might not, you might not have a part, and that's fine. It might have been something that was solely done to you. And that's okay. That's all right if that's the case. But if there is a little bit where maybe you're a little bit at fault here, or maybe you have some responsibility to take in whatever this is, go ahead, take that responsibility, and that'll help you let it go. It's time to release that. And for Sunday, we have the Empire Builder, which is our King of Pentacles upright. And this is your time to help others, to share your resources, to be a leader, to be a mentor, to step up. I think this is a card about leading with kindness, because King is definitely a leader, definitely a powerful energy here. But there is a kindness to this card. There is a generosity. There is a spirit of sharing. There is a spirit of lifting others up so that they can be better. And it really is, like I said, a card of generosity, a card of using your skills, your strength, the things here we've been celebrating, to help lift up others. I love that he has a hammer in his hand, and so much money is just falling out of his pocket over here. So maybe your skills are building, maybe that is a skill. Maybe you're a person who you're like, I really don't have any practical skills, but I can donate to my favorite charity once a month. That would be great. Maybe volunteer and donate at your favorite charity. But that is very much our energy here, is leading in whatever way you can. Use your strengths, use your resources. It's a pentacle, so it's about our physical and material things. So this implies some actual doing. So look at ways you can be of service to others. Look at ways you can be generous and share, and use your time again to inspire and help lift up others. And that is our reading for the week. Thank you all for listening, for for riding along with me here. If you are interested in knowing a little bit more about the year ahead in tarot and the numerology of the year, which cards correspond to that, and I'm going to be doing a full year ahead reading. February is the new January. I'm going to be doing that on Zoom on February 27th, and I will put a link to that in the description. There is a small fee for it, but I will put a link to that in the description of this video, so you can, if you're interested, you can sign up for that. But yeah, so yeah, for the week we have this wheel is spinning, Wheel of Fortune. What goes around comes around, turning. The advice here, I think, for this week is, again, to do our best in our inner circles and let that translate into the outer circles. Control what we can control. We're ending up something here, and I feel like this is going to be individual to each of us, this journey that we've been on, but it's a big chapter end, chapter closing energy. Not necessarily bad. Like, this is not a bad thing. This just means you've absorbed, you've integrated, you've learned all you need to learn from this experience, and you're ready to move on to something else. And we're going to get some big bang inspiration for that with our Ace of Wands. Going to have to make some decisions with the Two of Swords. Celebrate our strengths. Celebrate the good in life too. Don't forget that. But celebrating our strengths, celebrating our skills, being confident in those things with our Six of Wands. Don't argue with strangers on the internet. Save the energy for what's truly important. For Five of Wands, release. You're ready to release this. You're ready to let it go. But also look at your part in it, and take responsibility if necessary. Forgive yourself, too, for your part in it, if necessary. And then look how you can lead. Look how you can lift others up. And look how you can use the strengths and resources you have to do that. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. And we'll see you next week.